Hello and welcome to Control Alt WoW AprilPvd. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026, and this is episode 872 entitled From No Man's Sky to Palworld 1.0. I'm AprilPvd and I'm here to share my life, my experience in retirement, living single, sober, and small, but mostly playing video games and mostly in virtual reality. I love virtual reality. It has allowed me to live my single, sober, and small life. I call it small because I'm on a small budget. And because I can do things in VR that I wouldn't be able to do in my real life. Particularly, I work out in VR and I play video games. So I start out this week, or the beginning of this episode from my last episode. I played a lot of No Man's Sky. I finished the Swarm Expedition, which was great. The last battle was wonderful. I have 4 characters playing, but, and as you will hear in the upcoming segment, or the upcoming episode, I stumbled into a new game and I am loving it. So join me as I discuss my week in video games, including No Man's Sky and Palworld, which I have a hard time saying. Palworld. For some reason, it comes out sounding like Paul World. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy. The show notes are at CtrlAltWow.com, which forwards from CtrlAltWow.blogspot.com. For those of you listening in the podcast, you'll be able to see the pictures from the video. And now, let's listen to what I've been doing. So we're starting on Wednesday, and now that I've closed out AprilPvd on the expedition, I realized some things I should have done, like bring over that lens I created. You know, you could move it into your inventory, and then I could have loaded it in the console and brought it back. I got that idea from a YouTuber, Jason Plays, and there's a link to his video in the show notes. But there were a few things that I realized he could have done and that I will be doing as well. He brought over his multi-tool, but you can bring back the multi-tool you got in the expedition. Although I do know you can also get it from the Quicksilver guy as an expedition reward. But if you had upgraded it or added any tech that you installed, that would come back with you. And you just got to remember to switch to that multi-tool before you exit the expedition. You cannot go back to take stuff out of the console and then go back to the expedition, or so I thought. And I made a post on Facebook about this, about the fact that there is no return to the expedition once you leave. But you can go back to the expedition through the options screen. I thought you couldn't do it, and this was another one of the reasons why I'm so glad that I was trying so hard to give stuff to April, and that I gave a lot of stuff to Sebastian, because the two of them are going to their save, and that's going to become their main save. So everything that they had in their inventory stays with them. Now, I really thought that this was a different kind of expedition, because I didn't think you could go back and forth between the two expeditions and the main save once you had gotten to the point where you could put stuff in the console. At the anomaly, this is when a community comes in handy, because I posted about the fact that I didn't have enough room to put all my stuff in at the console, once I had completed all the milestones on the expedition. And that's when someone reminded me about that. You've got to that point, and now you can open option, and now it says return to main save. Now, that option doesn't show up until you have done all the milestones in the expedition. So I did that. I was able to use that feature, but that was the reason why I was giving April and Sebastian all of my stuff. I spent a lot of time giving them stuff so that I could bring it back. Now, of course, even if you don't do that, if you leave anything in your inventory and all the stuff that you have on your freighter and stuff, you get that back in units and in some cases I think some nanites once you do finally finalize and complete the expedition. But I was just trying different things because that's what I like to do. But the other thing I found out was that the bases that I made in the expedition, once I completed the expedition on the characters that did the expedition from their main save, the bases I made on Captain Steve's planet were there once I went back to my main save. And I think, I don't know, I've never made bases in expeditions because I thought you didn't keep them or have access to them. Of course, I did do something that I didn't normally do in expeditions along with, I didn't make many bases in expeditions because I didn't think there was a reason for that. But even the couple of times I did make a base, I did not save it or upload it to this, like where you go to upload your base. But I did that on Captain Steve's planet because he was trying to see if he could see more bases if they had fixed something with the multiplayer thing. So I think that might be the difference. Or, of course, maybe I'm wrong. And on my, if I go back to your bases at a teleport, I probably might have more bases from expeditions that I didn't realize I had. So I ended up completing or closing out everybody's expeditions. And AprilPvd was a weaver, so she got that big swarm statue. But I actually did some multiplaying with my other characters and let them copy it and bring them to their base. But it's still blue or bluish, dark blue looking. So, as you can see from the title of this episode, I've gotten into Palworld. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that. Palworld. I'm actually going to call it PW because that's easier for me to say. But I've been playing that almost entirely, and haven't played much of No Man's Sky except I went to DC over the last weekend, and I brought my MacBook Pro. Now, while I love Steam and I love the fact that I can play games on Steam, Palworld is not a MacBook. It doesn't allow you to play it on Apple products. It's a Windows game only. And I debated on taking my gaming laptop. It's a little bit bigger, so it would be a little bit heavier in my backpack that I bring with me on these trips. But the thing that stopped me was that it comes with this huge power brick. I mean, it's way bigger than my iPhone, almost the size of an iPad. Well, okay, a little bit smaller than an iPad, but it's a huge solid power brick, and I didn't feel like hauling that around. Plus, I thought I'd be doing some editing on my way down and back, so that's why I wanted to bring my MacBook Pro. So I did play I did play No Man's Sky on my MacBook Pro, and check this out, I played it on the train. Now, if you've ever traveled on a train, or public transportation. Wi-Fi is always sketchy. I have to give a shout out to Amtrak. It was solid all the way down and all the way back. I was able to play No Man's Sky, and mostly what I did was I worked on April's base that I had made on that planet, Captain Steve's. Now, this was the April character that I made from the second. Well, she went in as into the expedition from a brand new save. And because I thought that I needed to do that so I could get other stuff back from other characters. But that's another story. But let's talk about Palworld. Now, bear with me because I have a hard time saying Palworld. I don't know why. I may just call it PW. I want to make it Paul World, which is who's Paul, right? So, the YouTube algorithm brought this to me. Now, I watch YouTube a lot. I watch it mainly because I feel like I'm putting money in the pockets of your average Joe content creator. But it also exposes me to new ideas that's not shoved down my throat by corporate America. Um, my main thing that I like to watch is van life, which is crazy because I haven't driven since 1985 and I will never do van life, but I love watching how these people set up their vans and see them out in the wild, just living on their own with solar and stuff. I just think it's wonderful. I also get watch stuff about living single. Retirement and living alone and other things. Now, it's interesting because I have different accounts for YouTube. Like on my iPad, it's mostly Star Trek and there's some Black Mirror stuff I watch, reviews. And I've been watching a lot of Project Hail Mary reaction videos, which it's interesting to see these people watching and crying over this rock. And then I want to scream at them, yes, you're crying over a rock, but you're in your own home. Imagine what it was like to do this in a theater surrounded by strangers. And I did that 6 times. If you haven't seen Project Hail Mary, you really need to see it and listen to the audio book. It is amazing. But anyways, the algorithm on my Apple TV is mostly VR stuff, a lot of No Man's Sky, and it brought me to that's why I mostly watch Van Life, and it brought me to Palworld. So I'm watching these videos, and it looks interesting. One of the things that stopped me from playing World of Warcraft and got me into VR was that I had a hard time with the screen and playing in on the map. I could never tell where I was, no matter what I did. I was always getting lost or going the wrong way, trying to find my objectives, trying to find the materials I need. And even when I got a gigantic monitor, I think I got like a really big TV, maybe it was 32 inches, I think, and used as a monitor, I still couldn't figure out where I was. So Palworld has made it really easy to see everything on the map. Everything's open and clean, and I was really fascinated with it just as a flat screen game. But then I found out it has a UEVR injection mod. If you don't know about this, and if you're listening to this for virtual reality, you probably do. This mod has made a lot of games that were supposed to be just flat screen be seen in VR in total immersion. Most of the flat screen games are shaded and made so that you could actually see them in VR. And somebody made a UEVR injector for Palworld, and it works fantastic. It's on sale right now. I don't know how many more weeks, but if you are listening to this when I put it out, check it out on Steam. Even if you're not in VR, check it out on flat screen because it's really good. And I fell in love with it instantly. I ex- the character creation is nice. The whole thing is nice, and I've been really enjoying playing this game. I don't know much about the intricacies. If you are a Palworld player and you're looking for advice or stuff, I don't know a lot about it. I've been watching some more YouTube videos about Palworld, and I'm fascinated because I have just dipped my toe in the water. I've just tasted the tip of the iceberg, as it were. It is fascinating and wonderful on so many levels. So I ended up buying a second copy because I was trying to do multiplayer. One of the things I noticed when I first logged in is that they have guilds. You can join a guild. So I wanted to create a guild just like I did on World of Warcraft and just like I did on Zenith and on oh no, there's no guild on No Man's Sky. But I wanted to I wanted to create and see if I could get my characters to work on the same base. Now, I'm going totally blind. I'm just trying things out. So, I tried multiplayer a couple of times. I would create a game on one of my players in VR and then try to have the player on my other account join me on my gaming laptop, which is what I do in No Man's Sky. But every time I tried it, I had to start over with the player creation on whichever character I was bringing in, and it didn't seem to coexist uh, at the same time. So they didn't seem to, they didn't seem to persist. That's the word I wanted. They didn't seem to persist. I would have to create a character on that other account every time I wanted to do a multiplayer game. So I gave up on that for a little while and just played through on one character. Had AprilPvd go in, and she was getting really good. She built the base. It was really nice, and she had fun. But then the algorithm led me to something else. It's called a dedicated server. This blew my mind. Inside, once you install Palworld on your Steam computer, on your computer under Steam, there's also something that you can install called Palworld Dedicated Server. This is a persistent world that you can run on your computer that other people can access. This is what I've always wanted for my I'm a control alt wow. I am an altaholic, and I love the fact or the idea of having a static world that I can go in and out with my characters. That's what I was trying to do on No Man's Sky when I was building all those bases together on that one planet. And I finally figured it out. Yesterday was such a big day for me. I figured out so many things. I figured out how to make the server available to both the gaming PC and the which is what I run the dedicated server on, and the laptop. So I got Aprillian to join the dedicated server with AprilPvd, and then AprilPvd invited her to the guild, which I named uh, invited her to the guild. My main goal was that I would have a base that all my alts could work out of. This has been something I've been wanting, as I said. And I had so much fun. I've gotten April in the guild along with Aprillian, and I named the guild Clan of Darkness in honor of our World of Warcraft guild. And AprilPvd is the leader. She has gone the farthest in the quest line. She even tried to go against a boss and she died 3 times. But that was good because she's gotten really good at getting back to her stuff. So it's working out really well. I'm really loving Palworld in so many ways. I've gotten my base up to I think level 6. What I want to do is get it up to the level where I can have multiple bases on this world. And just seeing the two of these guys together, I'm seeing them and well, no, I was going to say I might need a third account, but no, I can't do a third account because my other computer are Macs. But it's really a fun game. It's really been a challenge. I'm learning so much about it. This is going to be a really short video because I really just want to get back into playing it. There's everything in this game that I have wanted. There is the building aspect, there's the pet aspect. I'm learning more and more about how to build my base. The biggest thing is that you can capture certain pets that have certain abilities. Sometimes you have to actually kill the pets because you need things from them like wool and fire organs. And I'm just on the tip of the quest line, but I'm really enjoying it and I'm having the best fun. If you haven't tried Palworld yet, I would suggest you do while it's on sale. It's great as a VR game, but it's even better as it's great as a flat screen game. It's even better as a VR game, but it's really good as a flat screen game. In fact, I'm just excited. There's a lot to do here, and I may not even go all the way into all the big stuff. Like there's bosses, there's people I have to fight, there's weapons that you can get, there's mounts and flying, and there's so much to this game. And like I said, I'm just scratching the tip of the iceberg, but I'm having fun. And I've gotten 3 of my alts in. Now I've got 1 more to get in. And then as I build and make things, I'll level up the next one, and I'll let you know how that goes next week. Thank you for listening to Control Alt WoW. You can find the show notes at controlaltwow.com, which forwards from controlaltwow.blogspot.com. I just feel really lucky to have VR, and I'm just happy that I found this new game, and it is just amazing. I've gotten to a point where I'm getting quests from different characters and I'm learning about the maneuvering, and I'm happy. If you want to write in and tell me about your experiences in Palworld or No Man's Sky or VR, you can write me at controlaltwow@gmail.com. This is AprilPvd signing off for No Man's Sky, Palworld, working out in VR, and living single, sober, and small.